The boy broke off a section of the plant's root and put it in his mouth to taste and found that it tasted good. Then he tried to eat the grass on the ground and found it was equally delicious. The whole forest seemed to be made of food. Then he tentatively walked into the depths of the island. The next second, a sudden noise came from the distance. He took a look. There were countless meerkats standing in the pool. The meerkats also felt the boy's presence. They looked up one after another. They looked up at the big guy in front of them. They didn't attack him, and the boy didn't want to talk to them. He just wanted to take a comfortable bath. After driving away these little guys, he jumped into the puddle without hesitation, the long-lost comfort, which made him unable to resist swimming in it. Just as he was about to take a rest after bathing, his young tiger was coming over. This guy is enjoying his meal, but strangely, when hiding a pie there, had no intention of running away. Seeing the other guy eating so happily, the boy also showed a relieved smile. But at night, the meerkats suddenly started to run away. He was very puzzled. Even the tiger also ran back to the boat on all fours. Soon the meerkats came to the tree. It turned out that the little guys just wanted to sleep. But then, the boy discovered a terrifying thing. Not only did a dazzling light suddenly appear in the puddle, but also many dead fish floated up. But all strange, their corpses seemed to have been corroded by something, exposing their white bones. He didn't know what it meant. The tiger sat quietly on the boat. Obviously, he didn't dare to approach the island, because the whole island looked like a humanoid creature. Then, driven by curiosity, the boy picked a strange flower. He opened it. There was a human tooth inside. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was likely a cannibal island. The boy knew he had to leave quickly. So the next morning, he took a full boat of food, in addition to the tree's roots and hundreds of meerkats, which should be enough for him and the tiger for a while. Since they left, no one has seen the cannibal island again. The man and the tiger embarked on a survival journey. But there were originally 5 animals on the ship. The ship that the boy and his family were on encountered a big storm. He escaped to a lifeboat in time, but at this time the zebra also jumped down from it. Just when he was a little overwhelmed, a tiger emerged from the sea. He was so scared that he jumped into the water. Then he quickly climbed up to the mast nearby, but there were sharks in the water. Seeing the tiger come, the boy wanted to return to the ship, but he didn't expect a hyena emerged from the cabin. This is bad. There was another dangerous guy who had to climb back up the mast again. Fortunately, the hyena was seasick and couldn't do anything about it for a while, but suddenly the boy seemed to hear. Something was calling nearby. He looked in the direction of the sound, but unexpectedly it was a baboon. Then the kind voice saved it and brought it up. A human and several animals in this started a thrilling journey to survive. But when herbivores and carnivores are together, will definitely spark a life and death struggle. The hyena's first target ended the most threatening boy, with the stick in the boy's hand made it helpless. He was so anxious that he ran away, so this guy turned to turn its attention to the injured zebra. Although the boy and baboons tried to stop, but the zebra still couldn't escape from being eaten. The boy was afraid that the hyena would attack him, so he stayed on the mat all night without sleeping, and even almost fell into the sea and drowned. When he woke up the hound had already rushed out. The baboon next to him had long been disgusted with his cruel behavior and knocked it out with his stick. But just as he brushed a sound of relief, the other one suddenly rushed over and bit his neck with his snake. Unexpectedly, the guy had just pretended to faint. When the boy came to check, the baboon was already motionless. Extremely angry, he started yelling at the hyena. Unexpectedly, he emerged from the cabin the next second and bit the hyena to death. Seeing this, he quickly threw a life buoy down to him. Fortunately, the ship was shaking. The tiger couldn't climb up for a while. Then he took the opportunity to jump into the sea. In this way, he gave up his only living space to the tiger. But seeing the shark in the water, the boy knew that this was not a solution. So while the tiger was sleeping, he ran to the ship to steal some supplies. But he found an unexpected surprise. There was food in the cabin, and it was a full box. Then he couldn't wait to start eating it. This was the first food he had eaten since he was trapped. Eating and drinking, he quietly transferred the cans to the raft. Just then, the 5th animal, a mouse, appeared. Before he could figure out what was going on, the tiger pounced out at the sound, but the canvas in the cabin got stuck in its paws. But the curious boy wanted to go up and say hello to it. Seeing this, directly emerged from the other end of the cabin. The mouse, out of instinct and fear of felines, climbed onto the boy's body, but unexpectedly, he threw it directly to the tiger and took the opportunity to return to the raft. But a little mouse, how could this little mouse handle it? Before he returned to the raft, the tiger chased after him. Fortunately, it was at sea. The tiger couldn't do this. He narrowly escaped death. But the boy knew that after the corpses of the animals on the ship are eaten, he would be next, obviously. Waiting here to die is not the way. So he wrote a letter for help and put it in a bottle and threw it into the sea. He just hoped that a passing ship would see it. Then he took out the book he found earlier, Sea Survival Manual, and started to learn the survival skills. Fortunately, he found on it the way how to get along with the beasts, which is to establish his own territory. First choose a time when the waves are relatively big. Make the ship shake constantly, making the tiger feel seasick, while whistling at the same time. And then repeat this step continuously. In this way, whenever the tiger hears the whistle, it will associate with the discomfort of sea. True enough, under the boy's operation, the other party has begun to feel a bit confused. Seeing the guy starting to feel sick and violent, he quickly climbed on and prepared to take back his territory according to the rules of anime. Just peeing here, it means the territory belongs to him. but the tiger laughed out loud when he saw it. Imperapian gives me here, it's still too young. Seeing that the method in the book didn't work, the boy decided to try his own method. He decided to try his own method. Although this guy weighs a full 200 kilograms, but it is a kind of feline after all. Cats can be domesticated. Don't they all like eating fish? Then he catered to it, but after a long time, the boy didn't even catch a single fish fry, seeing that the human was unreliable. The hungry tiger. So it jumped into the sea by itself. It can climb trees, well, he was still a little bit bad at fishing. Seeing this, the tiger couldn't help laughing. But the next second, the other suddenly turned and swam towards him. The boy was terrified. He quickly pulled the rope to pull the boat. When the boat had pulled, he immediately turned on it to prevent the man from climbing up the raft. He quickly pulled it back onto the boat. Tiger didn't expect that. He just went to catch some fish, but his home was stolen. Then the boy found an axe to kill it. But seeing the poor look of the tiger, he still couldn't bear to do it. After all, on this vast sea, this guy was his only partner on the sea. He decided to return the boat to the tiger. Then he threw down a plank and let the tiger climb up. To survive, they should live in peace and get through the hard time. As the days passed, the food was almost gone, so the boy decided to take a risk. He decided to use the remaining scraps to fish. He didn't know if he could catch it. Fortunately, the goddess of luck, and soon a big fish was caught. He seized the moment and pulled it up with a jerk. The fish looked like it weighed dozens of caddies. The boy used all his strength to hold it down. Then he quickly brought an axe and slashed it without hesitation towards the fish's head. But seeing the fish struggling in pain, he felt a little sorry for it, but for the sake of he had to do this for survival. But in the next second, he threw the fish to the tiger. The tiger was overjoyed and finally got to eat fish. This is the fastest way the boy can think of. The fastest way to tame the tiger. The next day, he sneaked onto the boat hungry and to search for more supplies. But the next second, a fish directly hit him in the face. When he turned around, he saw countless flying fish coming towards them. The tiger immediately opened its mouth and directly enjoyed it in the spot. The boy could also breathe a sigh of relief. His family wouldn't have to worry about food anymore. But suddenly, a bluefin tuna also jumped out of the sea with the flying. They thought this tuna was coming to hunt them, but now it became the food itself. Such a big one is enough for it to eat 4 days, so it didn't want to give it to the tiger. Soon the man and the tiger started to fight. The boy directly picked up a stick and glared at it. The powerful momentum really scared it away. The tiger was scared, so it ran aside. It silently picked up the small fish on the ground. Seeing this, it decided to completely subdue this guy. After it finished all the flying fish on the boat, he took out a stick to tease it. Due to its nature, the tiger was quickly attracted by the stick. But after all, it was not an ordinary cat. Facing the boy's repeated provocations, he was a little angry. It pounced on him, but was scared back by a shout from the boy. But in order to tame it better, he took out a piece of fish from his bag and slowly handed it to him. The tiger's eyes lit up when it saw the meat. In order to eat, he had to put down his air as the king of the forest. He lay on the ground and turned into a cat. Then the boy picked up the stick and tapped on the deck, and then threw a piece of fish there. The tiger saw it and walked over without hesitation. Seeing the tiger's well-behaved and sensible look, he was very pleased. Then, he threw a piece of fish to the other side as well. After repeating this several times, the world's first wild domestic cat was born. After it was full and drunk, the boy just scolded it briefly, and it went back to its nest obediently. It took half a month. He finally tamed the tiger, although the man and the tiger lived in peace. But they had to face a new problem. But how to get back to the land? Suddenly a ship appeared on the sea that day. He quickly took out a flare gun to signal. But because of the distance, the ship couldn't notice it at all, even after he fired all the flares. He didn't wait for rescue. Days passed by day after day. The long Pellew, he could no longer distinguish between reality and dreams. He would often see a group of animals in the water. And his girlfriend, disasters always come unexpectedly. A huge storm was coming with a destructive force. The boat carrying their lives was like a solitary leaf, could only be tossed around by the waves. Seeing the tiger struggling in pain, the boy cursed at the sky. I lost my family! I lost my family. Fortunately, the boy, they finally successfully survived the storm, but the tiger was exhausted and almost passed out, and was almost about to faint. He gently poured water on the tiger to wake it up, and then put its head on his lap, hoping it would feel better. Hoping it would make him feel better. The tiger lay quietly in his arms. They went through a life and death test together. They were friends in need. Then the boy also fell asleep in a daze. When he woke up again, he had arrived at this cannibal island, where he met countless meerkats, and strange pools, and flowers with human teeth. Out of fear, the next day he took food and left the island. After an unknown amount of time, the man and the tiger finally saw land. After the tiger got off, first stretched and yawned, and then walked into the jungle without looking back. The boy thought it would say goodbye to him properly, but he didn't wait for that moment until it disappeared. He didn't wait for this moment. Soon he was rescued by passing fishermen. On the way, he cried bitterly, but not because of the excitement of being rescued, but he couldn't imagine the tiger left him so easily. They had been through life and death together, and shared with that there was no goodbye at all. But is this really the case? The grown-up boy told another version of the story. The one who was with him was not an animal, but a sailor. The zebra was actually the sailor, and broke his leg when he jumped off. The baboon was his mother. The hyena was the chef on the ship. So everyone got an animal for the sake of survival. But gradually there was less and less food on board. The craziest thing happened. In order to survive, immediately decided to kill the injured sailor. The boy's mother saw it and hurried to stop him, but was killed by the cook. Then the angry boy killed the cook, and the tiger represented the evil in his heart. Because it was too cruel, everyone couldn't believe the second story. But the movie has many details, such as who is the mouse. So the second story is not the truth either, but the truth is far more cruel than this. Originally, the boy's father ran a zoo, but due to the economy, the Great Depression, the family had to go abroad to seek a living, but encountered a big storm halfway. Luckily, the family managed to escape to a lifeboat, but his father broke his leg when he jumped down. They drifted on the sea for a whole month, and the food had long been eaten up. Who had been hungry for a day gradually began to distinguish between reality and dreams. The elder brother saw his father as a zebra and wanted to eat him. The mother ran to stop him, but was killed by the delirious brother. When he came to his senses, he found out he had killed his own family member. He couldn't assent this fact, so he didn't resist his younger brother's revenge, and the mouse was the boy's girlfriend. In this way, he survived by relying on these relatives. Of course, the movie doesn't show these bloody scenes, but it is metaphorically expressed in other ways. Presumably that human-shaped island represents something. Everyone should know that. There are no bloody scenes in the whole movie, but it makes people feel scared after watching. I am lost. Happy. Ah. 好难